Protests in cities continue right now. Worried parents are struggling with how to protect their children from seeing the worst of the violence that we've seen, while simultaneously explaining the ravages of racism and getting down to some of these serious issues and educating their children. So what exactly do you say to your kids? Joining us this afternoon to talk all about that is Dr. Brad Schwall, the president and CEO of the Center for Integrative Counseling and Psychology. Thank you for being with us this afternoon, Doctor.
Thank you for having me.
So let's talk about this. How do parents talk to their kids about what they're seeing right now? And I guess that you almost need to sit there with them to see as much of it as you can with them, because you don't know what images they might come across.
Right. So often when I'm talking about situations that are traumatic, tragedies, I encourage parents to limit what children are exposed to. This still applies to the violence, but this time is a very important teachable moment. And by talking to our kids about the feelings that they're seeing and experiencing themselves, we can get into why is there anger? Why is there grief? And that in the end helps our kids to begin to take the perspective of others.
Isn't it important you always want to explain sort of top down to your kids as to what's going on and what they're seeing. It's harder sometimes to kind of pull back for a second as a parent and say, well, let me ask you what you're thinking and what your questions or observations are now so that I can process those or help you process those. A lot of it's about listening, not just talking.
It for sure is. We want to take the child's lead. Now, I do believe that this is a time where we can read with our kids, with our young kids, find books about racism, about diversity. With our older kids, talking about the importance of seeking the perspective of others. When I'm talking from my own experience, my own cultural background. We want to encourage our kids to seek to truly understand others. We can't love others and respect others unless we know others. And so with our older kids, get good information, talk openly, take their lead, but also be assertive about finding ways that either they can get involved or talk to others from other cultures. By doing that, we are helping to fight racism, and really, I do believe, helping them deal with the trauma of what is happening, because there is so much trauma from all of this. It really building up from long ago, from the past till now.
And I guess it's important to acknowledge that as well. This, of course, these conversations are going to vary by the age of your children. What if, though, Dr. Schwall, your kids are of the age where they would like to join the protests? What do you make sure to, say to them to make sure they do that safely? What do you say to your kid at that point?
Right. We can definitely emphasize the peaceful protests that are happening. I'm aware of Sunday, a group of churches gathering for prayer downtown. So certainly we want to be careful, but look for ways that our kids can express their frustration about racism, ways they can get involved. So we can think of ways in their immediate community, how they treat their friends, so important from young to older kids, to teach respect. But I would say there are opportunities to express and talk about what is happening. So look for those safe ways. But I do believe we need to honor when our kids do want to do something. Again, learning together, so important to focus on listening, to be humble, to seek to understand first, and that is what helps us to truly understand. And our kids will learn that from our own actions and attitudes.
Dr. Brad Schwall, the president and CEO of the Center for Integrative Counseling and Psychology. Thanks for sharing that with us this afternoon. Really appreciate it.
Thank you for the opportunity.
All right, it is